everybody. Welcome to the Trans Files. So tonight is going to be one of these uncomfortable conversations that I've really been promoting for everybody to engage in. We are going to be talking about TERFs. Just in case that if people do not know what the word TERF means, it means Trans-Exclusionary Radical Feminist. I call them farts. Please feel free to look up that meme on Google. It's hilarious. So we wanted to actually cover this topic of TERFs because, at least for me, where I see the division in the LGBTQIA+, at least as of now, is because of TERFs. I mean, yes, I can actually blame politics as well, but I definitely blame TERFs for at least having a significant amount of influence to promote all this anti-LGBTQ+ laws that are out there or trying to get out there. Mainly with trans youth participating in sports or even trans adults. Because they have this really, really garbage idea that we're trying to erase women. It's a garbage one. So I'm just letting you know, trans women are women. Okay? It is not about anatomy. Please drop it. Like, I mean, I you know what? When it comes to TERF rhetoric, I mean, I could say it has been in existence for years, but I mean, it's really been more hyped up with J.K. Rowling. She's been kind of the leader of that TERF movement. Yeah. And honestly, it's just like, okay, I just can't with her, but I'm going to go ahead and let you take this away, Sukuru, because recently, if people have not seen, is that Bette Midler had recently came out as a TERF. Macy Gray has come out as a TERF. So we wanted to go ahead and just go right into this. So Sukuru, I'll go ahead and let you take it away.
Yeah. So I'm actually in a moment I will share my screen, everyone, and show you the slide that I created, slides that I created based on a New York Times opinion piece, which was like 2 weeks ago, I think. Anyway, but before I do that, I just wanted to say, okay, now I forget what I wanted to say, but it'll come back to me. It was kind of important, but no, yeah, okay. Here's the thing. This is, and I'm very, very saddened, very much saddened by this, So yeah, TERF. I mean, they've been around, but I think, ironically, and I have to emphasize this word, ironically, ever since the Supreme Court decision on Roe v. Wade, they are gaining traction, is what I think. And that's actually very, very well, it's fucked up, but it's sad. It's sad, frankly, because it's like, why would they blame us? First of all, that's just screwed up. I don't get it. Okay, but anyway, so let's just go to this article. Okay, so this was published on July 3rd. Opinion piece by Pamela Paul. It's like a straight up. It's kind of like a textbook argument of TERF rhetorics, and that's and it's really not even funny. I mean, I wish it was funny. It's not. So she asserts the far right and far left agree on one thing: women don't count. So to start off, the title is like super inflammatory. It's like, anyway, yeah. So it's clearly like trying to instigate something, start shit. Okay. So, all right. So this is the beginning of the article or opinion piece. Perhaps it makes sense that women, those supposedly compliant and agreeable, self-sacrificing and everything nice creatures, were the ones to finally bring our polarized country together. Because the far right and far left have found the one thing they can agree on: women don't count. Okay, let's go on.
I have no words right now.
I know. Oh, sorry. Okay.
You're good.
Yeah, okay. I'm just kind of okay. I'm just kind of look at the slide because I can't see the bottom.
So
Because
I can actually see. Are you trying to read the as reported?
yep.
Okay, I can read it. As reported by my colleague Michael Powell, even the word quote unquote women has become verbatim. Previously a commonly understood term for half the world's population, the word had a specific meaning tied to genetics, biology, history, politics, and culture. No longer in its place are unwidely terms like pregnant people, menstruators, and bodies with vaginas.
Okay. So I'm actually going to after this article, I have several pieces written by cis women who actually voice argument against this opinion piece. And one of the authors, as one of the authors state, I just have to tell you, okay, so these inclusive languages do not tell any women not to use or not to call themselves women. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's the screwed up part though. Like, why do you twist the argument? I mean,
Right.
they are totally twisting the argument.
I mean, this is just a way to create more fucking division.
You are right. You're absolutely right, Noel. So, Planned Parenthood, once a stalwart defender of women's rights, omits the word women from its homepage. Narrow pro choice America has used birthing people in lieu of women. The American Civil Liberties Union, a longtime defender of women's rights, last month tweeted its outrage over the possible overturning of Roe v. Wade as a threat to several groups: Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, the LGBTQ community, immigrants, young people. It left out those threatened most of all: women. Talk about a bitter way to mark the 50th anniversary of Title VI. Okay. I mean, again,
That
again,
last line got me right now. Like I'm processing that. Like what? What? They don't understand. Yes, like Roe v. Wade was about abortion, right? Like it was about
mhm,
that, but it is a domino effect. Like we talked about it in the last stream. It's going to
yeah,
affect on so many levels.
yeah, that's right. And also, again, I mean, these groups are not excluding women. It's just that they care about human rights for everyone. That's why they are using inclusive language. And
Mhm.
also, though, okay. So yeah, Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, the LGBTQ community, immigrants, young people. Okay, aren't there women in there? I mean,
Right.
come on. I mean, what? You mean
I
there are immigrant women, indigenous women, black women, women, people of color, I mean, come on. What? Yeah, okay.
So what are
Again,
they trying to say then? Like that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, are they just are I'm really just trying to process that, to be honest. It's like, what the fuck?
they're
We're trying
twisting
to
the
be an
argument.
inclusive society, but it's like that includes women. Nobody is trying to erase that term women. It's
No,
just, oh my
it's
God.
yeah.
Well, to be fair, like I don't even take the New York Times honestly very seriously anyway. Like I'm just being real, but like I knew that they were pretty much a garbage like company, but like this just tops it. This tops it.
Mhm.
It's definitely on my top 5 of like garbage articles for the New York Times.
I agree with that. And you know what, Noah? What's concerning, actually? I mean, I get it. Yeah, you don't take New York Times seriously. Actually, me neither. But there is a particular group of people who religiously consume the New York Times. Namely, I would say, older, established, quote unquote, intellectual, uh, white cis women.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, I mean, okay, as I said, we were having conversation about this like before we logged on. And I mean, I have no intention of defending Bette Midler, but she's in that category, you know. Women like her read this article and freak out because they just like religiously read the New York Times, and they basically like buy everything, you know, buy every argument the New York Times makes, which is kind of appalling. But you know, yeah, so that's very concerning. So I can actually, I won't be surprised. A lot of women actually seriously, you know, felt freaked out about this article, and now they are anti-trans. You know what I mean? Thank you, New York Times. But anyway, um, okay, yeah. So okay, here. Okay, I started to kind of not laugh, but kind of okay. I'm just gonna read it. The noble intent behind omitting the word women is to make room for the relatively tiny number of transgender men and people identifying as non-binary who retain aspects of female biological function and can conceive, give birth, or breastfeed. But despite the spirit of inclusion, the result has been to shove women to the side. Women, of course, have been accommodating. They've welcomed transgender women into their organizations. They've learned that to propose any space just for biological women in situations where the presence of males can be threatening or unfair, rape crisis centers, domestic abuse shelters, competitive sports, is currently viewed by some as exclusionary. If there are other marginalized people to fight for, it's assumed women will be the ones to serve other people's agendas rather than promote their own. Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat with you, Seeker. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. I really do. I really can't. Like, because on one hand, like you said, it's kind of promoting like that anti-trans, but then in the same breath, it's like, well, just to be fair, like women have been accommodating to you guys, so like it's kind of like sets the precedent. It's like, oh well, we were all good with you guys, but like now you're kind of just taking over the space, and now we're being ignored.
How? I mean, once again, how? How? Come
Now, I
on.
like that last paragraph there. But, can you blame the sisterhood for feeling a little nervous, for wincing at the presumption of acquiescence, for worrying about the broader implications, for wondering what kind of message we are sending to young girls about feeling good in their bodies, pride in their sex, and the prospects of womanhood, for essentially ceding to another backlash?
Okay, again, who is? I mean, who is stopping them?
Right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we are not banning. Okay, let's just make sure people know this, right? I mean, of course, like everyone who's tuning into this program knows this, but I mean, nobody is banning the word woman or women. Okay,
No.
nobody's banning that. Um, it's just that like in some cases when we are talking about something as specific as pregnancy or abortion or child rearing, I
Mm-hmm.
mean there are other people, women other than women who engage in these activities and who has to be included. So anyway, but I just don't get it. Like, now they are saying they are totally twisting the argument and say like we transgender people are robbing the young girls of self-esteem. I mean, I don't get the argument, but anyway, okay, so uh it
So
wasn't
they're
so
bringing
long
the Bible
ago,
into this now.
huh?
It's like they're bringing the Bible into this now.
Oh
Because
yeah, yeah,
that first
I
part of
know.
that article, it wasn't
Yep.
so long ago, and in some places the belief persists that women were considered a mere rib to Adam's hole. Seeing women as their own complete entities, not just a collection of derivative parts, was an important part of the struggle for sexual equality. I'm just, oh my god! After you do this, I do have an article I want to share that kind of covers that topic. But
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
next paragraph, to be honest, I really can't. So basically, it says, "But here we go again, parsing women
Mm.
into organs." Last year, the British medical journal, The Lancet, patted itself on the back for a cover article on menstruation. Yet, instead of mentioning the human beings who get to enjoy this monthly biological activity, the cover referred to bodies with vaginas. And I'm sorry, I never enjoyed that. So that is a flat out lie. It's almost as if the other bits and bobs, uteruses, ovaries, or even something relatively gender neutral like brains, were inconsequential. That such things tend to be wrapped together in human package with two X sex chromosomes is apparently unmentionable. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I hope that line right there, yeah, instead of mentioning the human beings who get to enjoy, I'm sorry. I
Mm.
hope he's being sarcastic. I hope they're being.
Yeah, I kind of thought she was, but anyway. um, but I mean, okay, so bodies with vaginas, yeah, that's kind of yeah, it's I admit it, it's not a very I mean, yeah, that may not be a very what should I say, like not even very accurate because yeah, okay. I guess we bleed from vaginas, but menstruation in vaginas is not really. I mean, anyway. But yeah, so they can come up with like different terminology, but again, this is like this has nothing to do with like no, anyone trying to erase women. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah,
Has
um,
nothing to do with that. This is
yeah.
I'm just like this whole article is shocking. That's why it's like for me, I'm just completely speechless.
Yeah, I mean it's a great kind of textbook on turfs though, because like it's like it's packed with like everything that they say,
Yep.
almost. But anyway, so okay. When not defining women by body parts, misogynists on both ideological poles seem determined to reduce women to rigid gender stereotypes. The formula on the right, we know well, women are maternal and domestic, the feelers and the givers and don't mind me's. The unanticipated newcomers to such retrograde typecasting are the supposed progressives on the fringe left. In accordance with a newly embraced gender theory, they now propose that girls, gay or straight, who do not self identify as feminine are somehow not fully girls. Gender identity workbooks created by transgender advocacy groups for use in schools offer children helpful diagrams suggesting that certain styles or behaviors are masculine and others feminine. I mean, okay, I don't get this though. I actually almost wanted to research this. Do you know anything about this? I mean,
So I personally haven't seen the gender identity workbooks, to be
hmm,
honest.
right.
At least in my field, at least, because that's something honestly that I'm trying to work on right now with a professor.
Hmm,
But my thing is this whole that whole paragraph kind of goes back to gender norms in a sense. I mean, because you got to think about it, like what really makes a woman? Who actually was the one that made the definition of what a woman is? I can't think of anybody. So like
hmm,
that's what I'm thinking about when I am reading this paragraph. But yeah, I think I should do a little bit more research about the gender identity workbooks. But how I if I I'm trying to think what I was gonna say.
hmm,
When I think about the term even just gender identity workbooks, I think back in my field of mental health with existentialism.
hmm.
finding meaning and purpose in what something is, not having norms or society in general just tell you what you should be. That's what I'm thinking about it. But I actually, here we go. See, the next part after the didn't we ditch the straightened categories in the 70s, the women's movement and the gay rights movement, after all. And I want to say, just with that line alone, that's where I feel like the TERFs have infiltrated. The women's movement and the gay rights movement, because the shit I have gotten being trans, I have mainly got them from gay cis men, mainly white gay cis men. After all, tried to free the sexes from the construct of gender with its adequate notions of masculinity and femininity to accept all women for who they are, whether tomboy, girly girl, or butch dyke. To undo all this is to lose hard-won ground for women and for men too.
Okay.
I'm processing. Like, I mean, I knew talking about TERFs was just going to be kind of crazy, but man, I mean, it's just, I just can't believe now it's become so mainstream now. Like I said, it's been a trending topic for the past 2 days on Twitter. And it is all due to that Roe v. Wade overturn.
Yeah. See, okay, so this last paragraph on this page though, I mean, if only that part, like supposedly if I was having conversation with this woman, I already forgot her name because I kind of like scream bad things out of my mind automatically. But anyway, so yeah, if I were having conversation with her and she just said this, and I'll be like, right, you are absolutely right. But then her assertion that somehow trans people, trans people are, I mean, because, okay, implication, from the previous paragraphs is that like we are the ones that pushing these gender norms again, right? I mean, is that even true? I don't think so. Maybe some do. I mean, I can see some transgender people doing that, but collectively, I mean, no. I mean, where did she get that from?
Probably from the garbage TERF Bible. That's all I'm going to say. That's just my way of coping with TERF logic and rhetoric. I call it the garbage TERF Bible.
And okay, this one here. But women are not the enemy here. I agree with you. Consider that in the real world, most violence against trans men and women is committed by men. But in the online world and in the academy, most of the sorry, I probably mispronouncing this word, but those who bark at this gender ideology seems to be directed at women. Okay, so women are not the enemy here, but I will give it right back to you, whoever this was. We are not the enemy here. Transgender people are not enemy here.
We are just human beings. That's all we are. We're just human beings, just like them. Like, there really is no difference. That's kind of like, you remember when we were talking in the launch about even the whole concept of the trans label? This is why, like, in a sense, like, most of us don't even really like to be called trans, because I mean, if you kind of think about it, it's like, yes, I am proud to call myself transgender, but in the same breath, it kind of reinforces that stigma and concept that we are not human beings. It does not reinforce that equality aspect.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yep.
And she is right, though. I mean, but in the same breath, it kind of even creates its own little stigma, though, that's saying that all men are like this. And that's kind of what flows into that TERF rhetoric, though. That all men are bad. So in a sense, I feel like it's just going to be a war between women and men, and like it's just going to be, I mean, it's already there. I mean, it's existed for years, but I mean, this is just going to get to the point where I feel like it's going to be very dangerous. I mean, it kind of already is, though. I mean,
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
reflect back, though, like on the trans lives that have been lost. It's because people buy into this garbage that's going around.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Yeah.
want people to know that. But anyways, I didn't mean to cut you off, Shikaru.
No. You are not cutting me off. You're just giving me time and time to think, and also like things to think about. But I mean, okay. So I guess what I wanted to say though is that kind of like jumping to the conclusion here, but it's like we have to, we all of us have to be clear-headed about this, because we have a common enemy and we are not the enemy of each other, which somehow, I don't know, for whatever reason, the TERF is trying to, I don't know, I mean, trying to create this like polarization, right? I mean, and I just don't know, like, what do they gain from it? To what end? To what end? I think not you, but like, who, I mean, people out there who believe this article, I mean, they are just like playing into the hands of the enemy, of our common enemy, because they want us divided.
I mean, they thrive on that. That's like capitalism too, right? Like it preys on the weak.
Mm-hmm. And also, okay, here's the thing though. Let me just go back. The sentence that we were kind of scratching our head about. Okay, so here she says, right? I mean, yeah, Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, the LGBTQ community, immigrants, young people, and she says, oh my gosh, they're excluding women. See, right there, it's like this polarization between whoever you are against Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, the LGBTQ community, immigrants, young people. Who are you? Sorry, it's kind of obvious who you are, because you are not these things, and you're just, you're just kind of painting a picture, us against them. But I mean, we are not the enemy. I mean, it's kind of it kind of hits home for me here. Well, I don't know if hits home is the right word, but it hits me hard here, because I am Asian, person of color, I am transgender, I am an immigrant. I mean, it's like, okay, so wow, you really do not, you really see me as other. I am not included even in the conversation, you know, but here I am fighting for reproductive rights as well, because it's my issue as well, but they really want to separate us, and it doesn't make sense to me. But this is just this is what the our common enemy wants, though. Us divided.
That's exactly what it is. That's why people need to be more aware of this bullshit, so that way we can keep fighting and say, no, we're not going to go play into this little game. I mean, it's high school and petty. Like it in a sense, it's like a distraction in itself.
Yeah, definitely is.
Totally unnecessary.
Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, so quickly, so there is this Washington Post columnist, Karen Attire. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but so she wrote actually an article after this New York Times article, or another article about reproductive rights. But before that, she tweeted about it. So she says that NYT New York Times op-ed equating inclusive language to widespread legislative oppression is a reminder that many white cis women would rather gatekeep and maintain privilege than work in solidarity with other groups. Patriarchy is crushing us, but you all want to play both sides patty cake.
100. That is so true. And
Yeah.
this is like what I also want to just bring awareness. Like gatekeeping is everywhere. I mean, this is essentially what's dividing everybody in the LGBTQIA plus to begin with.
Yeah.
She's 100%. And by the way, I know her name is Karen, and I know I've criticized Karens, but she seems to be a good
She's a
Karen.
good Karen.
She's a good Karen. So not all Karens are bad, but I mean, let's just be.
I mean, I have a friends, whose names are Karen. So anyway, so yeah, she goes on to say, I'm a cis woman who is clearly able to see that we are under a system-wide assault on bodily autonomy and reproductive rights. We will need a politics of solidarity and community building to resist this, which is not something that white women have historically had to do. Yeah. So this tweet thread, she ends with this. This tweet thread on white women and their failures with community building is worth a look. Read and discuss amongst yourselves. And she's quoting this tweet by Shark Book Out Now.
Okay, it looks like.
Okay, I'll say it. The majority of US white women are fundamentally unequipped to do effective community activism, and everyone knows it but them. I mean, okay. I wasn't the one who said it, so don't bash me. But anyway, I realized like I was putting myself in a very very awkward position by being a person of color. But anyway.
Well, you know what though? I mean, they're not wrong.
No.
I mean, they're absolutely like correct. I mean, it's like I almost feel bad. Like I feel like genuinely bad for like real like authentic women's rights movements, okay? Like ones that are very inclusive, they include everyone, and it's just like these TERFs. It's like there's like this, what is it, like this shield that like prevents them to really see like, hey, wait a minute. Like there's something there, but like, in a sense that's being reinforced by society and our media too.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really help. So I mean, really, like how can you really reach a TERF? Like, I mean, I can tell you many times I have had countless arguments with TERFs, and I've tried to show them articles, and it's just like they choose not to do it. Like it's to a point where they're just so entitled and they really insist that they know everything that they're like absolutely refusing to look at the research, like genuine research.
I'm just curious though. So when you interact with them, like in real life, it's like I'm talking about them like a wild animal, but real life, I mean, what's the number one thing they say? I mean, what's their frequent argument? What are they saying to you?
Well, outside of offline, I've only really had like maybe one or two interactions with an actual TERF. But the first one that I had an interaction with, like I actually really didn't even talk to her because like the first thing that came out of her mouth when she was introducing herself to me is like, "Hi, I'm so and so, and I am a proud TERF."
Really? Oh my god!
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like, okay, well, thank you for letting me know that you're a garbage person and I'm not going to take you seriously then. And like, I'm sitting there wearing my trans shirt, like with pride and everything. And then she like literally said that. And I'm like, oh,
wow.
Okay. Another one is, okay, so I really don't want to talk about this because it's like celebrity drama, but the whole thing with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. This person, like I mentioned it because it was trending on Twitter for a while, which of course, like that's not a surprise to anybody. I mean, Johnny Depp is a big name, so. But she was telling me, I was like, what are your guys' thoughts on this? And she basically was telling me she was basically presenting the argument that men are abusers, and Amber Heard was justly like right to go after him. Because all men were abusers. But like people fucking, I don't know. But like I've never like had like a really like in-depth conversation like with a TERF outside of Twitter. But like, yeah, the ones on Twitter, I promise, like I just can't with them. Like their logic makes no sense. It's upside down. They pull the most lack of creativity of insults on you. Like, I mean, I've had TERFs tell me, well, what, especially when I'm talking about J.K. Rowling. That's when I get the TERF hive, is when I start talking about J.K. Rowling. Anything else, they kind of leave me alone. But with J.K. Rowling, it's like, oh my God, it's like a forbidden territory. It's like, oh, you cannot be talking about her like that. So, like, they'll be sitting there and saying, well, I'm going to call the Scotland police on you because you're spreading a bunch of lies. And it's just like, okay, what the fuck are they going to do? And I have had TERFs quote tweet me and talk about, well, you actually know women get more attacked than trans people. Where's her research?
Yeah, like in terms of what though, like percentage wise? I mean, what?
She didn't even.
I'm sorry. I'm a former researcher, so I'm like, I'm like, okay, like I just wanna, I want details. I mean, like, what are the numbers? I mean, what do you? Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, simply just saying something like that and not having a percentage or any type of science to back it up, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take you seriously. Or I've had TERFs tell me that, like, this is what happens when trans people don't get the help they need. I will tell you, though, I want to remind people, so TERFs, okay, yes, it does happen. Like, you see a lot of the lesbians and gays engage in TERF rhetoric, but there are also trans people that engage in TERF rhetoric. One person that comes to mind, Buck Angel.
Oh God, I was gonna say, oh God,
that guy is fucking sick. Like, I have debunked him too. Like, he is going on these rants. Like, you need to stop giving puberty blockers to these kids and everything because of the detransitioning thing. And that's another thing that TERFs focus on too, is the detransitioning thing. For the record, again, I will say this over and over. With detransitioning, it is a very small percentage. Okay? If you really think about it, 2% of the population here in the U.S. actually detransition because it really just does not fit them. I mean, that's the reason why kids go on puberty blockers, because that's, in a way, they figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, like, that's why that's there. That's why they go to a therapist before they even go on that stuff. And it's fucking ridiculous. But anyways, oh my God.
Yeah. Before I pass the button to you, let me just quote another article. This article is, actually, she's saying the New York Times is wrong too. So, no, New York Times trans people aren't pushing women aside. And she gives numbers, so that's why I wanted to quote her. So there's little research on the number of trans or non-binary people who receive abortions in the United States, as most medical systems record them as female. However, a 2020 study by Planned Parenthood and this is actually German, so I don't know, Institute, a research and policy organization dedicated to expanding sexual and reproductive health and rights worldwide, estimated that of the roughly 862,000 abortions performed in the United States in 2017, 530 of them were conducted on trans or non-binary people. But given the growing proportion of Americans who identify as trans or non-binary, experts believe that number could be higher. A study published by the Pew Research Center last month found that about what?
5%.
Okay, I can't read that part. So 5% of young adults in the United States identify as transgender or non-binary. So this is kind of a shocking thing, actually. I just want to read it quickly. Let's see. Perez is a non-binary person who was being interviewed for this article, also said language that does not include trans or non-binary people perpetuates healthcare discrimination against them and prevents them from seeking necessary care. More than a third of trans people who have been pregnant considered ending the pregnancy themselves. which is highly dangerous because of abortion access barriers and healthcare mistreatment, according to a 2019 report by the journal BMJ Sexual and Reproductive Health. Nearly half of transgender people and 68% of transgender people of color report having experienced mistreatment at the hands of a medical provider, including refusal of care and verbal or physical abuse, according to a 2021 report by the Center for American Progress, a liberal think tank. The survey of 1,528 LGBTQ people also found that 28% of trans people and 22% of trans people of color reported having oh sorry because
You're
I was
good.
trying to read. Can you read that bottom
Yeah,
part?
reported having postponed or not obtained necessary medical care for fear of discrimination.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for me. That's all I have.
Well,
So
there is a point that you mentioned in the slides about research. Honestly, I'm not even surprised that there's not been enough research. That's again another example of performative allyship right there, when people talk about how much they really give a shit about the trans and non-binary communities, but yet they in a sense really don't listen to us. They only have like a couple of like big organizations that conduct surveys, like the National Transgender Survey that's coming out this year. I don't know when, but it's like that's literally like the platform for it. It's like there's no research.
right. And like the point that they were making, I can clearly see it because okay, so on my medical record right now, right? They do have my chosen name, but I'm sure I'm recorded as woman, right? So when you do the statistics, me as a transgender person does not come up. I don't appear in numbers. So that's a huge issue right there too. How medical how healthcare institutions record keep their records. Um, yeah. So
I could share like an experience in healthcare, like when in 2019. So I did a couple of my surgeries. I had my top surgery, I had my hysterectomy. When I had my hysterectomy, like honestly, I was like really shocked because before I went under, I had showed the provider that my name was legal, my gender was changed, but yet right as I was getting ready to like get prepped for surgery, they went and told my child, well, your mom is going to be okay. They referred to me as a female. Honestly, like I was really pissed off because I was like, I'm getting ready to have surgery and you guys are gonna misgender me before I go under. Like, what the fuck? Like, how do I know if I'm gonna wake up breathing now?
right. Yeah, I know
But
that
that is
gives people.
concerning, like to your
Yeah.
point though, Sukuru.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, I actually want to bring up an article I actually found. So
Okay.
let me share
All
my
right.
screen actually
Yes.
because
Great.
so this was an article I found about debunking TERF
Mm.
rhetoric.
Mm-hmm.
So this article, I found it to be really interesting. So again, it kind of goes to a point that you mentioned. I believe it was in one of the articles. The radical feminist Monique Whitting notes that sexing behavior, masculine, feminine, and sexing a body, male and female, is a behavior we engage in because it serves our patriarchal culture. I'm sorry, I cannot talk. She goes further in asserting that the obsession with sexing bodies and behavior is a corrupting way of viewing our world, and that this view is rooted in concepts of creationism. That is, that these divisions are a creation of nature and not culture. The problem with being taught that it is natural to sex behavior in the body is that people tend to buy into the belief that such natural divisions are quote unquote real because God and nature said so. I found that very interesting.
Mm.
So, to kind of go on into the article, let me see if I can find it. Just to kind of give you an idea with her. So, let me think. Here it is. Okay. So, Trans activists have been pointing to this truth for decades. Consider the way in which Sandy Stone, the trans woman so hatefully targeted by the TERF, Janice Raymond, seems to echo. What I am saying, to quote Sandy Stone, what I am saying is that one of the ways that people justify oppressing people of any alternative gender or sexuality is by saying that social norm is natural. That is, it originates in the authority of nature itself. In other words, it comes from God and authority to which to appeal all of this. In fact, a complete fabrication, a construction. There is no natural sex because sex itself as a medical or cultural category is nothing more than a momentary outcome of battles over who owns the meanings of the category. There is a great deal wider variation in genetics than most people except geneticists realize, but we make that invisible through language. The way we make it invisible through language is by having no words for anything except male and female. And one of the ways our culture erases people is by not having words for them. That does it absolutely. When there's nothing to describe you, you are effectively invisible. So I wanted to kind of take a pause by that and try to get your thoughts on that, Suguru.
I have to process this. I'm actually, because okay, to be honest with you, and my mind actually does this a lot. My mind went elsewhere, not like I wasn't listening to you. I was, and I was kind of following the writing with my eyes and everything. But okay, where I went, I explained, and it's actually related. So way back when, okay, say when I was growing up, right? When I was growing up and when I was a young woman, right? So, or socially recognized as a woman. So I came to the United States at age 19, and I ended up in this very progressive alternative college called New College of California, which does not exist anymore, but it was in San Francisco. And bunch of us bunch of the students were queer people, and yeah. Anyway, so I found home at New College of California, but you know what always was so hard for me, being a progressive person, is that, so when you are socially recognized as women in a progressive sort of like a radical feminist circle, it's kind of like a this celebration of your body comes with it, celebration of your womanhood. It's almost like you are expected to like visibly and verbally celebrate your womanhood, because that's what what you should do. You should be proud of yourself, right?
Right.
And I always was so uncomfortable. I always felt so out of place doing that, and I did not even know why back then. And now I know why, but it's like I felt so alone and excluded because I could not do that. To me, I was not in any frame of mind to celebrate my body or celebrate my womanhood. It's not as if I didn't like myself. Okay, I mean, what should I say? I mean, and but it's like in that culture, you are almost expected to do so. And I don't know where I'm going with that, but that I don't know. Listening to that, to you reading that article, it just brought that back for me. I don't know why.
Well, there's another thing I want to actually bring to mind here. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, Suguru, but have you ever heard of Rene Descartes?
That rings a bell, but not exactly. I think not. I can't think of like where I heard that name.
So Rene Descartes is a philosopher.
Oh yeah. Okay, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I actually want to kind of bring this up actually with his argument. I found this on Simply Psychology because I was looking at the mind body debate, and it does have to do with what we're discussing. So basically what Descartes was basically arguing with dualism is that the mind and the body are separate. They interact, but they're separate, meaning that the personality never changes. It never changes. We are who we are. Which that's why I said this whole concept with like we're trying to erase women, or we're just like this, or we're just not humans. I kind of just want to reinforce we're still the same. We are still the same. So let me go ahead and read this. I know there's ads. I'm sorry. Fuck capitalism.
Okay.
Anyway. So to give everybody an education of what dualism is, just from the article, human beings are material objects. We have weight, solidity, and consist of a variety of solids, liquids, and gases. However, unlike other material objects like rocks, humans also have the ability to form judgments and reason their existence. In short, we have minds. Typically, humans are characterized as having both a mind, a non-physical, and body-brain, physical. This is known as dualism. Dualism is the way that the mind and body both exist as separate entities. To kind of go on a little bit here, Descartes' Cartesian dualism argues that there is a two-way interaction between mental and physical substances. Descartes argued that the mind interacts with the body at the pineal gland, which is like right in the front of the head if people don't know. This form of dualism and the duality purposes that the mind controls the body, but that the body can also influence the otherwise rational mind, such as when people act out of passion. Most of the previous accounts of the relationship between mind and body have been unidirectional.
It's very interesting because it's very yoga. For those who don't know, I'm a certified yoga teacher, and like we talk about a lot in yoga. It's like body influences mind, but mind influences body, vice versa. So
Yeah, Descartes was actually probably one of my favorite philosophers, to be honest. But I also want to share too, like just a little PSA to TERFs, because I know the part of biology comes out a lot. So I want to go ahead and just share this, like from the same article I was reading. Genotypes refer to the genes of a person, and many TERFs appeal to this as an essential sex substance to advance a system of regulating behavioral norms associated with identity ownership. Okay. Wanted to point that out there. Phenotype is as a natural binary. The phenotype is the physical manifestation of a person. So basically what TERFs do, when we hear an anti-trans troll assert that because what is taken to be an acceptably long phallus was discovered at birth, a male sex was established and therefore cannot be changed. They are appealing to a fallaciously, I cannot speak tonight, constructed concept of phenotype permanence. If a baby is born with the phallus being the essence of a man, that the person is said to have been born a man. Like appeals to genotype, this essence is regarded as an ever-enduring locus from which a human body drives linguistic currency within our own social system. If an AIS or trans woman has vaginoplasty, a TERF will assert that their sex phenotype has not changed because to accept this change is to admit that a body's sex attributes can change. Just wanted to put that out there since TERF seemed to like to throw around biology a lot. I just wanted to go ahead and throw that one out there.
I don't know. Okay, so TERFs really confuse me. I mean, they're
very confusing.
I'm serious, they confuse me, okay? Because, okay, so let me just get this straight, and no pun intended, but, okay. They are saying, supposedly, okay. So, okay. Here, this is like how confused I am, right? This is how confused I am. Because, okay, so they want, like, liberation, right? Liberation from gender norms, right? Good, okay. So they want that, but at the same time, okay, I don't know. Okay, so I mean,
okay, just to be fair,
yeah,
Suguru, TERF logic is very confusing, honestly. Like, I mean, it sometimes I just have to get stoned when I try to read their logic to understand it, because it's all word salad. That's why I said it's garbage. I can't deal with it because, like, you can't figure it out. It doesn't make sense. It's very contradictory.
yeah. So like, here's what I had 2 points, but one
Go
of them
ahead.
is hit. One of them is just because okay, so they don't want to be reduced to body parts. I get it. Okay, I don't want to be reduced to body parts either. But you know
Right.
why, right? Because I mean, because my uh body parts don't dictate me. Okay, so that's why it's clear to me, crystal clear. But so they don't want to be reduced to body parts, but then again, they want to define us with our body parts. Am I getting this right?
Pretty much.
Am I? Why? I mean, okay, these two contradict. These two do not make sense. Or am I crazy? Am I the stupid one here? I mean,
Nope. That's why I said TERFs have serious projection issues. They have the worst kind of projection ever. Like, it's so I can't with them sometimes. Their projection is they need to seek help for it. And that's why, in a sense, I kind of call them groomers, to be honest. Like, if they're so damn focused on the fucking body parts and everything, then, it's like, okay, then. Because, like, the reason TERFs, even besides talking about biology, TERFs reinforce the stigma of trans people a lot. They reinforce that we're monsters, we're unstable, that we can't fucking do anything, we shouldn't be trusted. They definitely bring the pedo argument into it. And it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you are engaging in this type of shit. Like, TERF logic, I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of word salads, to be honest. That's why I said I wanted to make a point. At the end of the stream, I'm definitely, like, really going to engage in self-care.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm anyhow, yeah. They just give me headache.
Yeah, they do. They're a massive headache. I actually took a Tylenol earlier because J.K. Rowling, I promise, like, I really can't with her. Like, okay, I know I promised myself I would probably not, like, highlight her, but, like, I just have to highlight this because it really just pisses me off. Like, I got pissed
Okay.
off about it so much that I actually decided I was going to quote tweet her, but then I changed my mind because I did not want the TERFs coming after me. So,
Here we go.
yeah. Oh my God. Okay. You know what? Just so people are just familiar with what type of garbage she puts on her page. Like, this is what TERFs get their information from. Here we go. She is stating an opinion about this.
Okay.
This is the one which has been making her trend right now. So let me go ahead and pull up this article that she's referencing to before we really get into this. Okay. This is about a disabled child, and they're talking about sex-based rights being under threat. First of all, my head just kind of scratched for a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. So apparently they're saying, like, in other words, same-sex intimate care had now become the cross-gender intimate care, a change of policy that would allow male members of staff to take Helen to the loo one-to-one behind a closed door. As her parents, our reaction was initially disbelief, followed by outrage and a determination that this policy change should be reversed. Life as parents of a severely learning disabled, autistic, and nonverbal daughter certainly has its worries. And some of these are the focus of this blog, but there's a danger in writing at length about our worries and fears for Helen's present and future, that we leave readers thinking our experience is one unending woe, for which we are seeking sympathy. First of all, that line right there. So here it is. Their threatened rights include the right to have women-only care, staff dealing with intimate care, helping use of the loo and manage menstruation, the right to go to a women's clothes shop, changing room, or bra fitting service, and for there to be only women present, the right to not to be seen naked by or see naked men in swimming pool changing room. By the way, they had to put in there Helen loves swimming. So let me go ahead what she said about it. I cannot overstate my contempt for those supporting policies that endanger extremely vulnerable girls. This is a travesty. Have we learned nothing from successive abuse scandals? Do we value the disabled so little? Let me pull up the rest of the thread. Probably should have done that from the get-go. Nearly 20 years ago, I founded Lumos to reform care systems for vulnerable children. I know from long experience how vulnerable children are in institutions. The statistics on predatory or predation are appalling. Disabled women and children are many times more likely to be abused. Predators go where there is access. Predators love victims who can't fight back or speak out, which, that's a point. Successive stories show that 99% of sexual abuse are male. This validation of male feelings over disabled girls' protection is apparent. Oh my God, please do not mean. I'm so bloody angry. I just had to do that. My hands are shaking. I'm the daughter of a disabled mother, and empathy goes to that. And I've campaigned for the rights of vulnerable children for many years, but I'm still constantly shocked by the cruelty and indifference shown to those who cannot advocate for themselves. That's where I kind of find a middle ground. Like, I agree with that. I urge everyone who feels the same way I do on reading this article to contact their MP. Blah, 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 blah. People are calling her out of this. There is no such thing as sex-based rights. So let me go ahead and just stop actually talk about that for a minute. What is your opinion with this whole argument with sex-based rights? If there actually exists.
Sex-based rights. I've never heard that terminology before. First of all, I'm just trying to,
sex-based rights. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah,
If you want to know what, I follow this person and I really admire like what she says, but like she said it perfectly actually. Once again, there's no such thing as sex-based rights. In the law and society, people are not afforded special rights because of their sex, but they are protected from discrimination on the basis of sex. Similarly, we don't have race-based rights. She's right, though. There is no such thing as sex-based rights.
Right.
So, I mean, oh yeah, and she has also been trending because she got into it, like her and Matt Walsh. If people don't know who he is, oh my God, TERFs is still trending. Oh my God.
Oh God. Okay.
All right, we have to look. I mean, I can't. Yep, we'll see. One of my tweets actually made it right there. Actually, so this is what I responded to that article. Actually, I call them farts. I do not call them TERFs. Because of the fact that whole concept with sex-based rights, I wanted to make a point to actually make awareness, because I was also seeing comments like trans people do not experience this. This is actual statistics here. 61% of trans people that have lived with a disability have been victims of sexual violence. And here, this actually gets even more sad. 12% of kids experience this. 12.
Yeah.
And if you want to know how bad it is, I mean, 50% of trans and non-binary people said they feel uncomfortable asking the cops for help, which is
Yep.
Because when they go to the cops, this is what they experience. 58% who interacted with law enforcement in the past year experienced mistreatment such as verbal harassment, repeated misgendering, physical assault, or sexual assault. Trans people are also put... I'm sorry.
No, I said I believe it.
Yeah. And so this one I actually would like to highlight too. Those who have done income-based sex work were also more likely to experience violence. 77% experience intimate partner violence, 72% experience sexual assault.
Mm.
Okay, we got to remember, okay, trans people have been kind of more like an outcast to society because
Mm.
again, like we have a lot of people that promote inclusivity, but it's really not inclusive. I call it again performative allyship. So sometimes like we are kind of forced to be put in that position where we probably don't want to, or even if we do want to, this is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
This last one, while overall rates of trans and non-binary people receiving unequal treatment at rape crisis centers are low, 4.9% trans women are, let me see if I could read that right, 2.44 times more likely, I don't even know why it has it like that, more likely to have experienced unequal treatment. Those who
Mm.
engage in sex work were 4 more times likely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want that to sit in with people. This is real. Like this really shouldn't even be a competition. Like that's my problem with TERFs. Like it really should not be a competition. Like
No.
violence in general is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like it does not matter what gender you are. It's not okay.
No.
We can acknowledge, yeah, like there's always been like this type of misogyny going on for fucking ages. But it's just like collectively, I think even with TERFs, they should find a middle ground with these
Mm-hmm.
movements.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their autonomy has been stripped away. I know that includes other members of the LGBTQIA plus, but I wanted to highlight that though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Their right to be themselves is gone. We need to fight. They need to get together. Like we all need to get together and be like, no, we're not going to be taking this shit. Stop focusing on us, like the trans community.
Mm-hmm.
Just accept us. Like we can have our conversations to the side right now. Like whatever type of petty bullshit you want to bring up with us, fine. Put it to the side right now.
Yeah.
And
I
as I
agree.
want to note to TERFs, actually, if you want to be taken seriously, first of all, stop contradicting yourselves, and two, actually make arguments that make fucking sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
your arguments make no sense. They make absolutely zero sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I almost feel sometimes like, are they doing this on purpose? Because it's like, as I said, it doesn't really make sense to me. Okay, so everyone can see. I hope everyone can see. Um, Patriarchy, capitalism are the common enemy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know this is systemic, oppression that we are all facing. So why then the argument becomes, why do they have to instigate hate against us? Because we are fighting patriarchy as well. you know I mean, I bloody hope that no one in the
Lucky.
trans community, okay, maybe some do, but no one in trans community wants to perpetuate patriarchy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the last I checked,
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. It's like, are they so stupid, or are they doing it on purpose? Are they like, I don't know. Are they with the empire? I don't know. Mm,
I mean, when I first heard of the concept of TERF, I was like, this has got to be satire, right? This has got to be fucking satire. This isn't real, is it? And it's like in the same breath, these same TERFs are also trying to like quote unquote fight other bigots, but they don't even realize they're fucking bigots.
yeah. Yep.
That's why
Hmm.
I said TERFs have like the most serious projection issues that I have ever seen. And it's dangerous. Like this is what I'm going to say about it. A message to the LGBTQIA+. If we don't get together and find a common ground to try to fix this, honestly, I see the TERF movement being like the demise of the LGBTQIA+. Because it's getting picked up by right-wingers now. Like, it's getting used against us. I actually saw a tweet where this dude was saying, well, men can't get pregnant. Men can't have babies. Actually, you know what? I actually saw this tonight, and I actually want to share this again because I think it's important. Like, because this is how bad it's getting now. So let me go to my profile real quick, and I'm going to pull it up. And it's by an extreme right activist, like a white nationalist. So let me see if I actually can find it. Give me a second. Okay. Let me get my screen shared, and I promise this is the last thing. So trigger warning for any type of hate. So, okay, so this is Dalton Clodfelder. I actually called him transphobic garbage, but of course, that's like my usual thing. So let me go ahead.
You should be bullied and hopefully fix yourself. If you're fat, you should be bullied and lose weight. If you're dumb, you should be bullied and you should educate yourself more. If you're trans, you should be bullied and not be trans anymore. It's not a hard concept to follow. Of course, everyone reacts differently, so I'm not saying just bully everybody. But as a general rule of thumb, I think bullying is good for the most part. Harassment's not good, but bullying can be.
Wait, what?
Start bullying. What? Start bullying again. And make sodomy and homosexual relations and being trans illegal. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas. I'm loving it. This is where we need to go right here. I'm a proponent of bullying.
Okay.
If you're
okay, wait a minute. Okay, he's for bullying, but not harassment.
What?
Harassment is part of bullying, though.
I think so. I mean, I'm not even a native speaker of English, but I know that much, I guess. No, okay. Oh wow. I had like I had a physical reaction.
Gross. It's fucking
oh my
gross.
god. Oh god. Sorry. It's oh god.
That's why we need to put a stop to this TERF movement. We need to get these people to realize, like, hey, y'all need to stop listening to like this, like extremists like J.K. Rowling. You need to stop fucking listening to her. You need to understand that we're all experiencing oppression. That's the thing that really pisses me off about TERFs. It's like, okay, you guys are screaming oppression, but like, look what we're experiencing too. This isn't a competition. We have a common ground. We're getting oppressed. Like, it's on a different level, of course, but we are getting oppressed. That's the common theme.
Yep.
Now, because of this bullshit, you got crazy ass right wingers like this that is promoting this type of bullshit. Bullying trans people and making them not be trans. Okay, well then maybe we should bully cis people then. I mean, that's what I'm just trying to get like this. I mean, I already see this is what it's going to turn into. I've seen people already say, hey, let's go and normalize bullying him. Just for the record, honestly, just for my stance, I don't think bullying is okay.
No.
However, when it comes to really hateful bigots, I'm actually okay with it. Because they need a taste of their own medicine to some degree. Call me petty, but I mean, that's just how I roll. But like, I would never like bully somebody to like kill themselves. I mean, that is not okay. I mean, for me, my definition of bullying when it comes to him, to be honest, is just like, yeah, I would just bully to the fact that it's like, no, you're wrong. I mean, it wouldn't be like really intense, but yeah, like that motherfucker, I don't know. I have no words. Like, I actually sent that to my mom and she responded with the throwing up emoji. It is the grossest thing I've ever seen. Trans people are already scared now because of this overturn of Roe v. Wade. Like I said in the last stream, there are already trans people, mainly trans women, that are making videos because they're scared for their lives, because they have been told to their face.
Yeah, because there are that kind of asshole out there, these kind of assholes that we just saw. God.
Yes. it's just it's fucking depressing, and you know, it needs to fucking stop. Like, enough with this bullshit. Like, why are you doing this? I mean, that was just my questions for TERFs. It's just like, what attracted you to this movement? What made you steer away from other women's rights movements? And it's just like, kind of like what you mentioned this on the one of the streams. I think it was when we were talking about Roe v. Wade, about how they were able to erase all that progress to get to that point. I feel like that with the TERF movement. Like, they're going to attempt to erase all this progress that legitimate women's rights movements have dealt with and fought for. That included trans people, real authentic allies. And because of the TERF movement, within our own communities, the LGBTQIA+, there's a mistrust with trans people and lesbians. Again, they have, and the gays, and they have put them in little categories. Because, like, again, the majority of the TERF movement, yes, it is full of cis people, obviously, but there are plenty of lesbians and gays. And they automatically have this assumption. It's like, oh, well, all lesbians are bad then because they're a part of the TERF movement. No, there are genuine, authentic lesbians that are allies. Just because some fell for J.K. Rowling or whoever started this whole TERF rhetoric, that was their choice. This is why we need to. This is why I said this is going to be our demise. If we keep allowing the TERF movement to infiltrate us, it's going to kill us all. And it may not just be by the TERFs that do it. It's going to be to these hateful fucking bigots that are out there. I mean, you got to look at the overall dynamic, what's going on right now. It's not okay for women to have autonomy, but it's perfectly okay for people to be carrying all these guns.
Yep.
That was more of the focus.
Yeah. So, okay, here's a case in point. Little bit. Okay, so this has me in my mind because I heard about this like this morning. Okay, so where I live in LA, and so Santa Monica is right there, right? I mean, it's like we are next to each other. So in Santa Monica, there's this pier. Santa Monica Pier is a very, very popular, tourist destination. I mean, locals and tourists, we all go there to have fun, enjoy the beach. Near the Santa Monica Pier, there's this, again, very popular shopping district called Santa Monica Promenade, right? And on the promenade, there's a Planned Parenthood, okay? This past weekend, Proud Boys, bunch of them, went out there on the weekend, blocking entrance, essentially surrounding Planned Parenthood so that no one can enter or go out. Okay, they're harassing Planned Parenthood, trying to keep people away from utilizing their services, right? I don't remember exactly how long ago, but there was in LA, there was a now kind of very famous incident called the We Spa incident, where there was an accusation by who we believe is a member of sort of right-wing group. This woman made a video accusing transgender patron of the spa exposing herself, right? So that created that called a bunch of Proud Boys from Orange County to swarm We Spa, Korean spa, essentially really sabotaging their businesses for weeks. Okay, so here's the thing though. So Proud Boys harassing abortion center, Proud Boys harassing a local Korean spa because they don't discriminate against trans women. Okay, so I mean, can you see it? Can you see it? Oh, I mean, these right wingers, white supremacists, are actually targeting women and targeting us. We have a common enemy.
Yes.
Why are we fighting each other? I mean, I don't want to fight, but it's like I'm being antagonized here. You know, I'm being hated here. Like, why? We have no reason to hate each other, okay?
We don't. I mean, and do I need to remind people about the Gays Against Groomers page? Like, I mean,
Does that still exist? I don't even want to check. Oh God.
Well, you know what? I'll spare you, Sukru. I will look right now, actually. So I will look. What was the last count of following? It was like 13.4, I believe, about in followers. So let me see.
Something like
Gays
that.
Against. I'll be happy. Oh, holy shit!
Don't tell me. I mean, okay, tell me.
They got over 40K. 40 fucking K. 40K. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, wow. What can I say?
Oh my God. I hate libs of TikTok. I see on their tweets right now, I guess libs of TikTok is saying, like, there's a drag queen that goes to England teaching children at drag energy catwalk workshop. So kids can learn how to walk and act like a drag queen. And they basically quote tweeted it said, leave the children alone. These motherfuckers. Okay. Anyways. Well, I know we're getting close to like a closing when it comes to this episode. I'm going to say we live in a really sad state right now. We need to really just fix this crap. We need to stop focusing on these performative conversations. We need to start having these uncomfortable ones. This definitely was an uncomfortable conversation for me personally, just because I experienced TERF bullshit all the time. But I'm more, I guess the thing is, like, the reason why we need to fix this is, like, we have children now that are coming out as part of the being in the LGBTQIA+. We have the duty to protect the children. I know a lot of fucking bullshit right-wingers are saying that we need to protect the children. They're not really, like, legitimately protecting the children. Let's just be real. They're very fucking stupid. But, I feel it is my duty, in a sense, as a parent as well as a mentor to many trans youth, that we need to protect them. They do not need to be growing up with this type of bullshit.
Yeah.
Or kids are going to be losing their lives. I mean, I don't want to get into this though too much though, because I know it's closing, but I mean, look at gun violence. A lot of it is with teens. They're killing each other.
Yeah.
They're being hateful. And again, I also want to say it does not surprise me that trans people are not being researched. I mean, I'm going to bet money. I would be interested to see if there was ever a study, and maybe I will research this, about trans suicides when it comes to this type of hateful bullshit.
Yeah.
It needs to be talked about.
Yeah. See, again though, sorry, yeah, I don't want to start shit either, because it's like we are towards the end, but it's like, again, I hate to say this, but like that's the another issue about like how the statistics are accumulated too, because like when we die, okay, like when trans people die, a lot of us are dead names, right? And
yes,
so like, are we able to die trans, or are we or are we are we able to die trans, or like our gender, right, our chosen gender, or they just bury us as, I don't know, the gender that we don't want,
Yep. Thank you for bringing that up, Sukuru, because that is some. Yeah, I mean, if you think about like the trans deaths, okay, we do know about some, but there are probably more because most of them are probably misgendered. So we probably really don't know that number. And are we going to really get that number? Fuck no, we're not going to get that number. They're not going to be proud to admit that they made a mistake.
Mm, mm.
And just a
I mean,
reminder, like our whole system in general, like it's very classist, it's very racist, it's very unequal.
mm,
I mean,
yeah.
it just saddens me when I read about like the trans lives that are lost. The first thing that automatically goes in my head is like there is probably more,
Yeah.
and they're not being talked about, and it's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
I want to just say a PSA here. The violence needs to fucking stop. We can agree to disagree on issues. Like it is okay to do that.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that I follow on Twitter that people don't agree with them. But like they do have their points. I always try to look for that common ground because that's how you can engage in a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be so quick to block people. Listen to them. Because at the end of the day, if we keep focusing on the drama and not actually focusing on the serious issues, nothing's going to get accomplished. I already know we are in this sad state of this world where we pretty much accepted that, like it's going to shit. Like there's just no point in fighting. But please do.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Please
Thank you.
do that because you know what? We get one chance in this world to live our lives. And as for me, like being trans, like I hate to even say this and hate the fact that I've actually accepted it. I accept as a trans man that I am probably not going to live very long because I'm trying to be optimistic, but in the same breath, I'm not really optimistic. But, however, it still does not stop me from wanting to fight
Mm,
for what I deserve as a human being. I deserve to have health care. I deserve to be able to live myself authentically. I deserve to be able to live in a house.
mm,
I don't deserve to be treated like shit. That goes for everybody else. You all do not deserve to be treated like shit. I know society in itself has been a big trauma. Remember one, you are not alone in this world. There's many people that will actually, if you really listen to them, have been through similar situations. Use your voice. Your voice is your greatest asset. You combine that with action, I guarantee you people are going to take you seriously. Because if you're just simply talking the talk and you're not doing
mhm.
anything effectively, I'm sorry, you're not going to be taken seriously. Use your voice, kick major ass. Keep debunking TERF rhetoric. Don't listen to TERF rhetoric. It is garbage. And again, kind of like what Seguru referenced, it's very confusing. It'll destroy your mental health. Just accept the fact that it's word salad garbage. That's all you have to really think about when you think of TERFs. Please do your best to educate. Definitely plant the seed there. Even if TERFs don't listen to you, at least plant the seed in there just in case, like, if this is like my optimism speaking, and I know it's probably low, but hoping that at some point they will betray J.K. Rowling and as much as these other TERFs, and they can actually reference back to what you said.
Mm,
So if they don't want to listen to you now, that's okay. Just work on trying to educate other people. I mean, TERFs are part of the problem, yes, but there's other performative allies that are not in that TERF movement. So let's focus on those.
mhm.
The dangers that we're facing as a community is real. The kids are about to be really affected by this big time.
Yeah.
So please, I just encourage you all, please continue to hold accountability when it's due. Please call out the bullshit, call out the transphobia, debunk what you have to. Just never stop using your voice.
Mhm.
I'm sorry I went on for a little long rant, but Sukru, do you have any closing arguments or closing thoughts?
Just one. So, including myself, right now for trans folks, it's isolating, frankly. There are days I know you guys feel like nobody else stands up for us, and we are so few, you know. So it's it's so easy to isolate ourselves, but show up. I mean, okay, you don't have to do it. Like you don't have to push yourself to do it. Yeah, I mean, there are days who I kind of isolate myself too because I want to do that, right? But what I'm actually trying to say is that I continue to tell myself to show up for others if I have a stake in the issue. Like for instance, like abortion issue, I'm actually going to show up. I'm gonna go to a counter protest this weekend and protect, Planned Parenthood in Santa Monica. Um, I don't know. There may be TERFs out there, but they don't actually prevent me from going because what matters to me is the issue at hand, right? So continue to show up for others, continue to show up for yourself because showing up really matters. And at the end of the day, people will look at you and people know what you've done and what you are doing. So that's all I have to say.
Amen to that. Like, seriously, I encourage all my trans, non-binary siblings, please continue to stand with women as well. Like, because, like, this whole thing with Roe v. Wade, it's not just them, it affects you too. So please, like, stand in solidarity with them. And I want to say something to you, Sukru. Please stay safe if the Proud Boys are out there. Like, stay
God, yeah, I
freaking
know.
safe.
It's serious. Yeah, I know.
And honestly, I'm not even surprised. Like, most of that, like, white supremacy is, like, a lot of it is in SoCal, isn't it? Because, like, I know, like, I've heard a lot of it going on in Huntington Beach, but
Yeah,
Santa
we'll see.
Monica,
We'll see. Yeah, don't know. That's what pissed me off too, because like, oh, now like they are in my territory, and I can't let them. No, stay in OC, okay? Stay in Orange County. Stay.
yeah, please stay there.
Yeah, where you belong. I'm sorry, people in OC, because there are nice people in OC too. But anyway.
Well, that's why, in a sense, they need to have an island. Just have a little TERF island. Let them fight with themselves. Like, I've been saying that about Karens, though. But again, like I said, I don't want to do that because, there are legitimately good people named Karen. But still, like, let the TERFs and the white supremacists, like, go into one little space and just move everybody in, like, a sane place. Get them away. Like, they're toxic. They're so toxic.
Yeah.
But anyways, I want to thank everybody who tuned into the stream. This definitely was a really good conversation, despite the fact that, like, talking about TERFs can give anybody a headache. So, like, I appreciate everybody.
Yeah, take care of yourself after this episode.
Practice self-care. That's what I'm going to say. Practice a lot of self-care.
Right.
Go read some, like, actual rules saying things. Do not listen to TERFs because they are damaging to mental health. But yeah, anyways, just continue to like, subscribe, share this channel. We are unapologetic and we will continue to not tolerate shit. We are not afraid to call shit out when it's due. So if you want more, we're going to be producing more. So I will see you. Well, actually, we will both see you next time. I am sorry, sorry. I cannot talk today. See, this is what happens when I talk about TERFs.
They confuse you. It's okay. They destroy your brain. They are dangerous. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you're saying, like you were referencing earlier. It was like, what was it? Like, on one hand, it's like I'm trying to say something, but my mind is saying something else. That's kind of like what's going on right now.
right.
Okay.
All right. That's it for now, folks.
Yes, that is it for now. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Get this going. Bye.